Hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day. Wherever you are, whenever you are watching this, coffee cheers. Welcome to this week's edition of Coffee Chat with me. I am Catherine Oster. And first, we're going to start with a sip of coffee. Step one, take a sip of your coffee because it is so delicious and just like melts me. There's nothing better for me in the morning than a really bold black cup of coffee. So, what I want to chat with you guys about this week is the evolution of coffee chats. So, I looked back on my Facebook page, this Facebook page, Catherine Oster, Creation Specialist, and coffee chats actually. Hey, Tanya, good morning. Thanks for joining me. Coffee chats actually started as The Crazy Show. I remember that. The Crazy Show debuted in May of 2018. And I think The Crazy Show only had like 8 or 9 episodes. It was kind of my first kick at the can of creating something like this regularly, a live broadcast. And then it went silent for a little bit. And then it came back as Coffee Chats in May of 2019. So Coffee Chats have been going on pretty much every week. I mean, I have missed maybe a couple weeks here and there where we have pulled from the vault and broadcasted a replay. But every week since May of 2019, that is like 5 years. And I honestly could not believe it. Could not believe it at all. Um, and what really pulled me to look back at that is Coffee Chat is taking a coffee break. So after this coffee chat, it's going on a coffee break, just giving some time and space. And so, what is a coffee break? Well, when you're working at a 9 to 5 job, a coffee break is just a break time from the activity that you're doing. You can take a seat and rest, put your feet up maybe, and have a cup of coffee, giving yourself and your body, hey, good morning, you guys. Thanks for joining me. Giving yourself and your body some time to just take a step back and a little break. Um, And then when you get back to the activity again, you are rested, you are rejuvenated, you have a little more energy to get into it. And so yeah, coffee chat's taking a coffee break. Um one of the things, as you all know, I've really been diving into is human design. And this is kind of what catalyzed my initiation of a coffee break with coffee chat. I last summer, gosh, I think it was July or August. So it's coming on almost a year now. I had my first human design reading with a friend and a client of mine, and I learned that I am a 3-5 manifester. So, manifester is the type of design. It's a type, and it is kind of who you are innately, like how you basically function as a person. Um, and a manifester goes with the energy of initiations. And a manifester initiates a lot. And an initiation is just this energy that comes up, these ideas that bubble up to take action on and just bring them to the world. And as a manifester, your signature theme when you are living in congruence with your type is peace. Yeah, and so I didn't even know I didn't have peace with a lot of things until my horse showed me. My horse actually really showed me how to have peace. Last week in coffee chat, I talked about how she also taught me how to let go. And it is in the letting go that where the peace comes from. And previous to that, when I was working with her. It was just a lot of like regular, consistent, hard work. Let's get stronger. Let's keep going, like forging ahead. Um, there wasn't a lot of peace. And at the moment, I didn't know that that's what she was showing me. But looking back, that's what has evolved. And so now with her, when we ride, there is this peace between us, but it's so powerful. And so now I'm looking for peace with everything, with my body. And I've actually found that in Pilates, where it's not this force and effort and control. I'm able to do Pilates with my body from this energy of peace and power, which is what my Pilates coach has shown me. Um, in my relationship, what does peace look like in my relationship? Well, a lot of that is like letting go of having to be right. um, and letting go of making sure the other person is comfortable, letting go. That is been a huge theme for this. And now I'm looking at what does peace look like for me in my business. And like I talked about, Coffee Chat evolved. It started as the Crazy Show. That went silent for like 7 or 8 months, and then it came back as Coffee Chat, and that's been going strong for like 5 years now. And now I'm letting it go. I'm letting it go. I'm going to let it grow. I'm going to take the lesson that I learned from my horse and implement it in my business. Letting it go, let it grow, finding the peace. And I know it's coming back as something that is going to be more powerful. I don't know what that looks like yet. So that's what the coffee break is going to be like, allowing all that to bubble up and show up for me. The other thing with my 3-5 manifester, so manifester is my type. My profile is 3-5. Now, the 3-5, it's a 3/5, comes from the I Ching. And it's basically the idea the lines of the profile make up a house. So the first line person is like the foundation, like a line 1 is the foundation. This person does a lot of research about things. They really want to make sure they have a strong foundation before they bring information into the world. Hey, Linda, good morning. The second line is like the first floor, where these people are observed a lot. Second line people have a lot of natural talents and abilities, and they can't explain how they can do this stuff or know this stuff really well, but other people see this in them. And the second line person is projected on a lot because other people see their abilities and like, oh, well, this second line person is really great at this. They should do that. So there's an example of a projection. The second line person, if they enter into a projection because somebody told them they should, not because it's actually for them, then that starts to create turbulence in their life and just nothing is really flowing for them. So a second line person, that's a common theme for them. A third line person, which is me, is the staircase from like the second floor going from the first floor, sorry, to the second floor, the staircase. The third line is an experimenter. Lots of people can look at a third line and think that they have failed a lot. But it's all a part of the experimenting. And that's what this has been. Actually, my whole life is an experiment of different things, and I didn't even really realize it. And the third line comes with resilience. A third line that is in alignment, incongruent, has this resilience where they just never give up. They never really see anything as a failure. They just take it and they get the information they learned from their experiment. They bring it forward into the next thing that they're creating. And so I'm experimenting with coffee chats, with my business. I've been in experimentation with my horse, working with different coaches, learning different things until, and everything that I look back on has gotten greater. So I am closing the experiment of coffee chat as it currently is, and I'm going to take some space and I'm going to start another experiment. And you will be notified about that very soon. I'm not sure what that's going to look like yet, or how that's going to be, or how I'm going to show up. But so I'm allowing my business to fit into my design. I'm doing my business by my design. And then and so that's just a little information about the profiles, the types. And I've been studying human design with Jamie Palmer. And that's always been her thing, is like, live by your design, create your business by your design. And what that shows up is something that is very sustainable. It shows up as something that actually feeds you, supports you while you are creating it. Um, when I look back, and how I was creating before was not wrong. It's how I saw and what I wanted to experiment with, but it wasn't actually something that was sustainable. You know, how I was creating in 2020, 2021, 2022 is not something that I could keep doing for 20 years. And my whole vision of life and perspective has changed. As I have been talking about with you guys in all the coffee chats leading up to this, I am no longer looking short term at the little details in the picture. I'm really looking at the big picture, 20 years, 30 years. And oftentimes those choices, they don't create short-term results in the very beginning. That's kind of the information that I'm getting from my experiment. They don't create short-term results in the beginning, but they create sustainable longevity, huge results in the future. And so, for example, I'm going to talk about fasting. So, what I learned about myself as I've been experimenting with fasting this past winter, my body, really learning about it, food for me was a short term satisfaction. I was eating to satisfy this short term, this urge, this feeling. Hey, mom, good morning. Thank you for joining me, you guys. Um, to satisfy this short-term fix. And it was, so much of it was a dopamine hit, actually, and I didn't recognize that in the time. So leaning into longer fasts. So when I started learning what happens when you put your body into a fasted state and it does not have to deal with the constant digestion of food, your body unlocks these healing mechanisms within it. So I'm going to go through them quickly with you. So after about 12 hours of no food and no sugar, so nothing to bring your blood glucose up, 12 hours, your body switches over from a sugar burning state to fat burning. Your liver will start to produce ketones, and the ketones will go to the brain and they'll actually finally turn off the hunger. So there's a bit of a gap in there as your body is shifting from sugar to fat. There's the gap, and the gap can be very uncomfortable. That's where the hunger is. That's maybe where you'll get a headache. But there are things you can do to make that gap easier. Your body switches over to fat burning, ketones are being made, it turns off the hunger, and you start to access this fuel in your body, this energy that is powerful, more powerful than sugar. And it's stronger and it feels really cool. You have more clarity all of a sudden. Um, and and then after 17 hours without food, your body starts going into autophagy, where it will start to clean up. It'll go within itself. It'll start to clean up the diseased cells, the cells that are not forming correctly, that maybe have some sort of dysfunction in them. It just cleans them up. It puts them in to the detox pathways, and then your body eliminates them. So it's cleaning up these cells because it wants to make the body stronger because there's no food coming right now. And then after 24 hours, 24 hours is the gut reset. So within your gut, the bacteria that was so conglomerated, solidified together starts to spread out and disperse more so that when food comes, it is more efficient at digesting it. And then the bacteria that was feeding on the sugar starts to die. And then you start to grow this other kind of bacteria that is more supportive, and and the sugar addiction will start to go away. That's 24 hours. Into a 48-hour fast, you get a dopamine reset where your brain will literally start to make more dopamine neurotransmitters, receptors. You start to feel really good. It can really change depression and the moods, and just everything gets better. And oh, we're going to back up to 36 hours. Hey, Jen, good morning. So 36 hours is like the belly fat fast, where the body will really go into that stubborn belly fat that just won't go away. Well, when you do a 36-hour fast, it starts to break that down because the body goes hunting within itself. It's like, I know I stored glucose somewhere and we need glucose right now. So we're going to go find it in that belly fat. And then 48 hours is dopamine reset. 72 hours, like this healing takes place because all of these processes have been going on for so long. And I've been studying fasting with Dr. Mindy Pelz. And she claims, and she's worked with people for 20, 30 years using fasting to heal their bodies from cancer, Alzheimer's, all of these diseases. And she says if you do two 72-hour fasts a year, your chances of getting cancer are very, very slim. And it will also clean up. She's worked with people in changing the diagnosis just through fasting. And so this has been extremely fascinating to me. Holy man, did I get off on a tangent there? I was talking about perspective. So what I learned in myself is I want to create a body that is strong and thriving in 30 years when I'm 70 and in 40 years when I'm 80. I don't want to get dementia because I've seen that, and that's not a life that I want to have. Fasting is something that can change that. And so I'm taking the initial short-term satisfaction of eating and I'm leaning into long-term results through the fasting. But I'm also now starting to experience short-term results, like the body shape is changing. My target is not to lose weight, but of course, it's going to change through this process. My target is to create a stronger, sustainable body with longevity. That's the target. Same thing with my business. So it's like everything is changing in my life from short-term creation to like long-term. Hey, Ross, good morning. And same thing with my relationship. My desire is that Travis and I continue to keep growing, growing together. Yes, there's periods of uncomfortable and uncertainty as people change in relationship. It's challenging in that you no longer know how they're going to be. Um, you have to evolve together, and that's going to keep it engaging and growing. And the short-term comfort is where I would give myself up to make him more comfortable. But the long-term growth is where I keep going. And of course, I'm always honoring of him and checking in with him because we are living lives together. But I'm not going to not do something because he doesn't like what other people are going to think about me, and not, he's never really vocal about that anyway, but it's more like of an energetic thing. So Coffee Chat is taking a coffee break. And if you would like to stay connected with me, I invite you to sign up on my email list. I do not have a link for you right now to do that, but I will post one on my Facebook page here. So keep your eyes opened. It'll be a pinned post, so it'll be at the top of the page. And stay connected. I'm still going to keep writing emails throughout the summer. I'm still going to keep running human design introduction readings for those of you that would be interested in learning about your type and profile. And I'm going to offer some private coaching sessions throughout the summer. And I'm going to dive into more human design. I have a lot of learning to do, and I'm very excited to do that. And I'm going to keep diving into more of this fasting because I want to bring more of this to the world, inviting other people who also desire to create a greater future than the life you're living today. And not that there's anything wrong with the life you're living today, but what do you want your future to be like? And how can you get there with your body, maybe in your relationships, with business, and in your finances? And that's where I'm going. So, thank you all so much for joining me live this morning. And thank you to everybody who's been watching with me for the past 5 years, maybe 6 years, if you remember the crazy show. I am so grateful. And here we go. Coffee cheers. Bye bye for now, and have a great rest of your day.